Is it? Oh, it's cute.
Oh my God, I got some on your shirt. No, still probably shirt.
What? Hey, I'm a working man. You're lucky I made it to that meeting. I came straight out of the OR.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
You probably did.
You could have taken it off
You
before
had
you
your
came in
booty,
here.
you had your booties off.
These screens.
Okay, back in meetings called to order. First thing is the public hearing and presentations. 2019-20 school calendar as provided by state statute and duly published. A public hearing will be held at 5:30 p.m., at which time citizens may be heard on the 2019-2020 school calendar. 2019-2020 school calendar presentation.
So we talked at the January 3rd meeting and several meetings before that. The calendar committee began its meeting in mid-November, and the calendar committee is comprised of parents, teachers, administrators, students from the high school and junior high school, and also our student rep to the board, Dan King. Those students on the committee are part of the presidents of the student council for both those buildings, and we developed some drafts of the calendar that and we share with the group the state statute relative to the calendar. The calendar for next year, the statute has changed a minimum of 1,044 hours, even though we had already been on an hours-based calendar. That now is kind of the rule, so to speak, so it doesn't matter how you get to 1,044, but in there you have to have time built in for inclement weather days. So our calendar does exceed the state minimum, it always has, and we always make up the days of instruction that are lost. So philosophically, we believe more time with students is better, and that's the way that's positioned. So the parameters that we operate in, most people want to start as late as they can in August, and they want to end before Memorial Weekend, and want us to make sure that we protect the integrity of spring break because it aligns directly with the university and maximize the time at Christmas. So when you take all those wants and desires into consideration and you see that the hours of instruction are there, there's really very little wiggle room. In years past, we've the inclement weather days, there's 6 built in, 4 at the end of the calendar, meaning that if we get into that, we end up extending the school year up to Memorial Weekend. I would remind you too that we got summer school, which starts after Memorial Weekend. There's a week there, and we try to get summer school in the month of June so we can get July to have our schools ready for school to start. The new teachers are back August 2nd. So when you look at how much room you have, there's very little. The 2 days that are in the calendar are Martin Luther King Day and their President's Day. A lot of districts around our area do have 2 days built in, 4 at the end. I call it 2 in, 4 out. Ours is that way, and this proposal that's before you is that way too. The change that we made is that the first snow makeup day will be President's Day, meaning February, was that 15th? Date would become the first snow makeup to 17th. The second one is Martin Luther King Day. Now, some have asked in years past, and I shared at the January 3rd meeting, that 50% of the time in the last 10 years, we have been in session for Martin Luther King Day. In other words, it's just the way the snow days have worked. If we push the first snow day to the presidents and the second Martin Luther King, that further protects that holiday from being the first snow makeup day, if that makes sense. And if you're, I guess if you're really a betting person, you would bet that we're only going to have 3 days of snow makeup during a year, then you can get real cavalier with the rest of it. Some ask what's your average number of days you miss, and it's been about 3. And we had this discussion with the Ozark Conference superintendents too. So the difference between the draft early on and the calendar before you is we're further working to protect Martin Luther King Day by moving it as the second snow makeup day. Right now, for this calendar, this year, We had one snow day, and that was before Thanksgiving, which is really odd for us, and that first snow makeup day is Martin Luther King Day, so, but next year that wouldn't be the case if this calendar were the one for next year. Does that make sense now? So what you have before you is what's been shared out since November. It's been on our website. It's been at all the buildings. We've taken comments on that with the committee, and the recommendation would be that we adopt the calendar 1920 as presented on page 4 of your packet, and it is the one that's out on the district website right now, which is draft, and if you approve this, we'll move it to the regular calendar, and then make sure we contact the surrounding school districts that are part of our Career Tech Center consortium, because they really want to know what our calendar is going to be as soon as possible so they can set theirs. Happy to entertain any questions.
Okay, there is time for public comment. If anyone would like to be making a comment, you're granted 5 minutes to do so. Okay, then is there a motion to adopt the 2019-2020 school calendar?
I'll make a motion to adopt the 2019-2020 school calendar.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign? All right. Thank you. Okay, at this time, questions from the floor. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any question previously discussed through administrative channels and not on the agenda will be granted 5 minutes to make a presentation to the board. And please state your name for the record. Okay, any person wishing to speak on any items on the agenda will be granted 5 minutes to make the presentation. Please state your name for the record. Okay, seeing none, we will go on with the consent agenda. A consent agenda is utilized by the Rolla Board of Education as a means of dealing with routine matters which must be considered by the Board of Education but require a minimum of discussion. All Board of Education members receive and review written information supporting the items listed on the consent agenda well in advance of the meeting. While any Board of Education member is welcome to remove any item from the consent agenda for separate consideration or discussion for any reason, normally all items on the consent agenda are approved in one motion with a minimum of discussion. It is recommended that the following items be approved on the consent agenda, and they are items A through F. Are there any comments or questions about those? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items A through F.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, under new business, we'll go on to tonight. Dan King, our student representative to the Board of Education, will share what he has gained from his experience serving on the board this year. So Daniel, you're on.
You want me to go up there?
No, of course.
So first off, I just want to say thank you guys, and just as another token of thank you, I left all of you guys cards,
Thank you.
and I hope you guys enjoy them. So what I'm going to be doing is a little different than normal. I'm going to be giving Lauren some tips and tricks on how to make the most of this experience. So here we go. Dear Lauren, this is going to be an amazing experience, but I want to give you a few tips to make it the best. First things first, don't be scared. It's intimidating, but everyone is glad you're here, so just take a deep breath and speak clearly and confidently. Always remember to breathe and be relaxed when your nerves are getting to you. First tip, bring something to drink just in case you get a little tickle in your throat. Also, don't swivel your chair. Next, don't try to scoot out of the view of a camera when it's time to take pictures, because you will be in that picture and you won't look photogenic. I learned that one the hard way. Rolla Daily News has a couple of really good ones of me. So you're going to learn a lot of things through this experience. Review the agenda ahead of time and look up the accounting and financial terms ahead of time so that you understand a lot of what's going on. You'll pick up on them, but it's best to get a jump start. Speaking of which, there's a tab on the school website titled Understanding the Board. Read it very closely, and understand it. It is an amazing tool that you'll use every meeting. Also, make sure to go to as many committee meetings and trips as you can so you can learn as much as you can about what's going on. Know that your knowledge about what the students think is valuable information. The board very much cares about your opinion. Make sure to speak your mind. There have been several instances that the student rep's opinion has changed the opinions of others. Lastly, there's going to be a lot of public speaking and new etiquette, and there's a lot that goes into that, so I'm just going to list it off. Number 1, speak clear and slow so you can be understood. 2, learn to shake hands properly. 3, always have your notes prepared and ready to go before the meeting so that you aren't distracted during the meeting. 4, when you're talking to the superintendents, address all of them. Learn that one the hard way too.
Don't play favorites.
5, if you have any questions, just text me and ask me. You have no clue the amount of times that I frantically texted Ashley asking for her to translate for me. I am always here if you need me. And finally, just enjoy yourself. This time will fly by, so enjoy all the moments as they come. For me, it feels like just a week ago that I was sitting where you are. I hope these tips help you make this as great of an experience as it has been for me. I have always enjoyed learning, and I've spent the last 16 years constantly immersing myself in new and enriching things to keep myself and my brain entertained. Through my experience here, I have learned many new concepts that I never thought I would understand, whether it was bonds and levies, audit reports, or budget amendments. But I didn't just learn finance. I learned a host of new professional skills like how to better my public speaking or how to act in a professional setting. With all this said, the most important thing that I have learned through this experience is confidence. I've started this as a quiet kid who was scared to talk in the meeting. Now I have found my voice and I stand strong, willing to speak. With all that said, I want to thank each and every single person that has helped me along the way, whether they sit here tonight, have retired, or moved on. This has been such a great experience, and I'm glad I got to share it with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm scooting out of the picture.
We have always held good appreciation for you. And so, we have a certificate. Here, I'll get you this. Let's give you this. This is just a certificate of recognition. Then we also have a plaque for you for serving on the school board, something like that. And you just want to hold that in front of you. Probably. Hey, he takes after me. I just go. And I don't know, some of the board members may want you to stay up here to say something to you. All righty. I don't know. Anybody have anything to say to Daniel, or just adios, compadre?
I recognize that he's wearing the school colors today.
I like that.
Nice job, nice touch.
And you know, Daniel, I do know that it is such a change from the time you start to the time you end. It just almost feels like maybe you're just now really getting started and getting into it, and then your term's over. But I sure have enjoyed having you on the board. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to use, or don't be afraid to use what you've learned here as you go forward. We've enjoyed your time here.
Yeah.
We've had former student reps, even now, are on their own school boards. So that's kind of exciting when they come back and they have already been on their school boards. So.
Yeah, the very first one was Craig Stevenson 11, 12 years ago, and he's on the school board in Hallsville.
Yeah.
So
We get to see them.
we see him every now and then, yeah. So
Daniel,
thank you,
good luck. All right, good luck.
Daniel, you've done a good
Thank
job
you.
not just sharing information, but you've also asked questions, and I think that's a big part of being a good member of the board, is being willing to ask questions, not be afraid of sounding dumb or stupid or whatever. Putting yourself out there, so good job.
And I'll point out that so far, Mom's doing a good job of not shedding a tear.
There we go.
She's got the school colors on also.
And RD, just if someone doesn't like the school calendar, then it's Daniel's fault.
Daniel was on that.
He did
committee.
speak up on that committee, and
He
he
was a
wanted,
student rep.
he wanted the longer Christmas break, so.
All right, so next we will get our new 2019 student advisor in accordance with policy BCEA, student advisor to the Board of Education. The new student advisor, Lauren Ulrich, did I pronounce that correctly? Ulrich, okay, will be sworn in. So if you would come down to the front desk right there, I believe, Myra will give you the oath.
I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Lauren Ulrich, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the school director
discharge the duties of the school director
in and for District Number 31,
and for District Number 31,
County of Phelps,
County of Phelps,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Yay.
Thank you.
Did Daniel give you his binder?
Myra gave this one to me, actually. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Jamie. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lauren, normally, the student rep will give us information about what's going on in the district.
Right.
Kind of toward the end of the meeting.
Mhm.
So what we'll do is we'll go on with what's on here, and then we will want you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Okay?
I can do that.
Okay, wonderful. And,
Great.
and we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And if you get bored at that end, we're much more fun over here.
Daniel, I'm surprised he left Dr. Dare and moved to that end, actually.
I don't think he had the choice.
You know, because that was pretty well known that, you know, yeah. Bye.
Bye, Daniel.
Bye, Dan.
Okay, preliminary supply and textbook budget. It is recommended to approve the preliminary school, let's see, fiscal year 20 budget allocations for custodial supplies and equipment and district supplies, textbooks, and equipment.
Okay,
And you're on.
so each January, we ask that you approve budget amounts for the following fiscal year so that it allows the district to begin placing orders in the spring for items that are needed when the students return in August. I would like to say really quickly that reviewing current year trends for revenues and expenditures, we are doing a bit better than budgeted, so that's encouraging. Keep in mind that it's early yet, we're just now halfway through, so I'll keep you posted there. Okay, so here we can see the per student allocations for kindergarten through 12th grade. The estimated enrollment is based on the average of the September 2018 and January 2019 student enrollments, and then multiplied by $184. The allocation for RTI and RTC is based on an average full-time equivalent enrollment of 300 students, and the early childhood PUPS programming is based on an enrollment of 72 students. Both of those are then multiplied by $134. The lesser amount is due to not having a textbook allocation to those programs of $50. RTI and RTC, those textbooks are funded through the tuition and fees. And after discussing everything with Mrs. Brown, the PUPS programming, they don't exactly have textbooks as such. So once the amounts are allocated to each building or program, it is then up to the administrator and his or her staff to use the funds as they deem appropriate. The amounts, if they're not expended, carry to the next fiscal year if not used prior to June 30th. We feel that this encourages wise expenditures rather than a hurried purchase at the last minute to ensure that the money is not forfeit to their program. In addition to the building supplies allocation, I've included amounts for other known expenditures coming up, such as high school band instrument rotation, the band uniforms, RTI building trades project, and the district match for the federal enhancement funds for the RTIC programs. This evening, I would also like to request that custodial supplies allocations for fiscal year 2020 be approved. The amounts presented here are based on trend data from the last 3 years. And finally, the total amount that I'm requesting that you approve at this time for fiscal year 2020 is $1,216,200. Are there any questions about these amounts?
Any questions? Okay, so is there a motion to approve the preliminary supply and textbook budget?
I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary supply and textbook budget
For 20?
for fiscal year 20.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same. All right, thank you, Kendra. Okay, summer school proposal.
Mr. House.
Mr. Johnson.
January, Mr. Hounsell.
Never too soon.
Thought this would improve everyone's mood a little bit to know that summer's just around the corner. So on page 34 of your packet is a description of the summer school program we'll be seeking your approval for tonight. The summer school session is slated to begin Monday, June 3rd and run through Friday, June 28th. So 4 full weeks, 20 instructional days. The program is designed to be a 4-hour daily program at the elementary and middle school level, with exploratory courses primarily being offered at that level, and a 6-hour day at Rolla High School, which is split into 2 3-hour sessions, each 3-hour session representing the ability of students to earn a half credit toward graduation. We would offer those classes on site at Wyman Elementary, Rolla Middle School, and Rolla High School. In addition, last year at the beginning of summer school, we were just getting started offering online classes through the launch program. I'm sure that will increase this year and give students some flexibility to earn credit over the summer, perhaps when they are not able to be there during the month of June for the number of hours that they would need to. So we'll have 3 sites plus online learning available for students this summer. Dr. Ray will lead the elementary program, Dr. Davis will lead the middle school program, and Mr. Smith will lead the high school program, and they will be on site at each building. As in the past, we will continue to offer lunch daily at all 3 sites, and also bus transportation within the city limits of Rolla. Now, the bus transportation, unlike the regular school year, we will receive no state aid funding on that, so that will come directly out. That will be a direct expense for summer school, but it's well worth it in the kids that we can get to come to school, and financially it makes it's a positive financially, but it also allows us to get kids and experience something that they might not otherwise be able to. So, for those of you that have been on the board for a while, this summer school program is very similar to what we've offered in the past. Very few changes. We hope to offer a wide variety of coursework. A lot of times the student interest is what drives what courses are offered for the summer. We will offer a lot, and then what kids sign up for we'll be able to actually offer during the summer session. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about the program. But moving forward tonight, we would need your approval so that we can start doing the planning and start building our courses for the summer.
So Craig, if a student does the launch program, does that get counted as attendance?
Yes, it does. So
Excellent.
up to a certain amount. There's not an unlimited amount of attendance we can count for each student. We will set our official summer school calendar to actually be 2 months. We will offer a 1-month program here at Rolla where students can earn a credit, and then we will extend it for the month of July so that students can earn a second credit. And so total, we could count a student in attendance for 2 credits worth over the summer.
Nice.
So, yeah, we will receive attendance hours for the launch classes.
Think that'll draw more kids?
I think last year there was a lot of initial interest, and we had several kids go through it as more and more people know about it, and as summers get busy, but students want to get ahead during the summer and create some flexibility in their schedule. I think it will grow this summer and continue to grow over time, I think. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
How do you increase awareness for the high school students to?
Well, this
know
is going to
about
be a
that?
part, the launch program in general will be part of our course description book this coming year. So we'll have a page in there to talk about that availability, not just during summer school, but through the regular school year as well. So I think by word of mouth, and then it will be part of our summer school registration packet. I don't know that we will list all the individual launch courses because there's a large amount. But there will be information about the availability of online classes where students can pursue that a little further.
So there's some online site where they can go look to see what classes are offered through launch? Then?
Yes, Launch for Learning, I believe, I'll get the website wrong, but it lists their full catalog. Last year, we did offer a smaller selected catalog of classes just to get us started. And so we'll look through and do something similar this year.
Do the launch kids I think I asked you this before, do the launch kids have to be at school while they're
They
doing
do
their work?
not.
They can do this at home?
They can do this at home. Yes, they can do it. So if their schedule doesn't fit the daily hours that we run our seated courses, this does give them the flexibility to take classes over the summer on a schedule that fits them. It is it's a rigorous program. The launch classes are designed to be a full semester course. And when you're finishing a full semester course of online activities in either a 2-week period or a 4-week period, they offer both. It's similar to going to school for 6 hours a day like you would be in a seated course. It's a commitment. It's rigorous.
And will we continue to have driver's ed this summer?
Yes, we certainly hope so. Based on your approval tonight, I'll go out and speak with Fairgrounds Chevrolet and make sure they're still interested. I would assume that they would be, but yes, we would like to continue to offer that to kids in Rolla. And one note here, we can accept students from any school district, and so at times we do get students from surrounding school districts coming in. Summer school is different than the regular school year. So if there is an interest, we're certainly open to students from surrounding districts coming in as well.
So you don't need a motion.
We need a motion to approve summer school so that we can move forward with it, yes.
Didn't say that on the agenda.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the summer school plans as Craig has stated.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful, great. Can't believe we're planning already for summer school. Right. Okay, Board of Education future issues. The MSBA Legislative Forum is February 11th. I know a few of us signed up. Myra, thank you for registering. Those of us that can get away to go with that. As it gets closer, we'll make plans maybe to carpool there. Our next meeting is set for February 7th. And then February 21st will be our second February meeting. We do need to have a discussion about the April and May board meetings. The revised date of the April meeting due to the election is April 11th, with potentially only one April meeting.
Yeah,
So you want-
we were talking, if we did April 11th and then what is it, the 26th, then you're right up against the May board meeting, which
Okay.
is the second. So you have that in front of you, so we thought we would do one April meeting, which allows the board to reorganize, we get bills paid, and then have 2 meetings in May. It's typically been the other way, and we could eliminate the first May meeting, do 1 meeting in May, and go the 26th of April as well. The 11th is important because we have to get contracts. You know, we're making decisions
correct.
about salaries and that during that meeting, and we're rehiring staff during that meeting as well.
Can we wait from the 11th to the 2nd as far as hiring goes?
If you would be so kind to say that you would be willing to come in on a Friday morning, 7:30 special meeting to hire, we could make that work.
There's a lot of other activities in May, but I won't be here to worry about that. But just remembering in the past, if you attend other activities that the school district has going on. I'll ask that.
So what are you saying? What do you,
I'm not, yeah.
yeah, I'm not
Saying
following you. I'm sorry.
Instead of April 4th and 18th, which is what we had planned, that we do one meeting in April, the 11th, instead of, so that way.
Right, so what is stated here is what you're saying we should do. Do the 11th,
And then if
and
they
then
need us
two.
for an additional meeting, we come in on a Friday
Right.
morning.
So if, like, we would go on and change it to the 11th, have only one meeting in April, the two in May, with the, if needed, a special Friday morning or whatever meeting could be called. Is that what we're saying? Okay. Does that work for you? Does that work?
May 2nd?
Yes. Is that good?
Yep.
All right. So I guess we'll need a motion then to change that on the
Yeah,
calendar.
it is an action item. It was,
When are the March meetings? I don't have those on my calendar.
March 7th and 21st, the same dates as February meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
When, March 7th?
March 7th and 21st.
I won't be here on the 7th.
Okay.
yeah, we didn't put those in there because those were pretty stable, but they had been approved at a way
Prior
previous meeting. But these were impacting the,
Do you
I'll
need
give
a
you a
motion?
maybe. I'm not sure if I'll be back in town yet or not, so there's a chance I may not be.
So you need a motion. Would you like a motion?
I would like a
I'll
motion.
make a motion that we set the April meeting for April 11th and the May meetings for May 2nd and May 16th.
Second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right. All right. Old business, board candidate filing. At this time, we have 3 candidates for the 2 positions of Director of the Rolla Number 31 School District. The following filing ended January 15th at 5 p.m. The names of these candidates will be sent to the county clerk's office by January 22nd, 2019. The candidates in order they will appear on the ballot are James Jim Packard, Shannon Lusk, and William Bill Parsons. So those will go be ready for the election. And then we are to Lauren, but Lauren, maybe before we ask about you, we should all introduce ourselves. So, Mr. Hounson.
Craig Hounson, Assistant Superintendent.
Jamie Myers, nice to meet you.
I don't know, we've
Yeah.
Jane Haskell.
Charlotte Jameson.
Jim Packard.
Lauren, I'm Brian Creedy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Tony Froelich.
Kyle Dare, we met the other day.
So anyway, we just thought it'd be nice that tonight, we don't expect you to do a report, but you
Right.
could just tell us a little about yourself.
All right. So I am a junior at the high school. My name's Lauren Ulrich. Sorry, the last name's a little difficult to pronounce. So I actually didn't know about the school board application to be representative until the day before it was due. And so that day I was thinking to myself, this is an amazing opportunity. And I'm best friends with Dan and Ashley, and they've told me about their experience on the board, and so I decided I would love to do this, and so that's why I decided to apply. So some things I'm involved with at the high school, I'm in band, I'm also a trombone, so Ashley, Dan, me, I guess it runs in the section now. I'm on the debate team. I'm vice president of the Eco Club, which is like an environmentally friendly club. I write for the Echo newspaper. I've actually interviewed you over the phone before. I don't know if you remember yet. Yes. I'm sure there's a few other things I'm involved in, but can't remember them all right now. I'm just very, very excited to be here. I am not always the most outgoing and talkative person, but I've been pushing myself to take up new leadership roles, and so I'm very, very excited to learn and grow through the school board, and I really want to serve my community, and I hope that you all will help me do that. So thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
And, all of us are here to help you, and
Right.
you need help too. Plus,
Thank
I
you.
know Ashley and Dan.
Yeah.
That would be great,
Mhm.
great help for you. So welcome. We
Thank you.
appreciate you being here. Okay, just dates to remember again. Our February board meeting, the legislative forum. Then, it looks like we have a Missouri School Board's recognition week. Maybe we'll get goodies that week, even more so. And then our second February meeting. So I would like to have a motion to go back into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go back to the closed session.
I'll second that.
Okay, Brian, or Tony, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, so we are back in closed.